Morning, everyone. It is April 2nd. We got the EPS long range grumpy trade scan update here. Let's get into these stocks for the day. So we have NOK. We talked about the scenario that it was cautious. We're underneath the 5-day. We're expecting it to fail, and it did. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of these past drawings. And let's talk about this here. Just yesterday, we had this gap above the 5-day and some digestions of gains back into the 2-day VWAP. So we're looking for this to get back above 538 with a stop under 530. Ideally, this rallies up quickly, starts to consolidate here back into this 2-day VWAP, and then we get the daily VWAP and the 2-day VWAP convergence in this premises, buy above 538 with a stop under this 530 premises underneath this gap low. Moving on to TME is the next trade. We talked about this on the daily time frame. We could see that as it gets up in this area, it's been failing. We took this trade into this area, managed our risk, and asked ourselves, so what's going to be different this time? And it wasn't. We're back underneath with a rally, and we're trading underneath this year-to-date volume weighted average price high. So we could see here, we talked about this scenario. We got a fill in this premises, and then we actually took some out as we started to break down in lower lows and lower highs on the smaller time frame. So at least we were able to capture 2.5%. And now we can look to reset this here. So what we're looking as it's resetting is to get back above this 1455 premises here. We could see here that the 5-day moving average is flat to rising. However, price is trading underneath it. If we get a break above this 1455, we'll be deleting the data here. So it will continue to rise. And perhaps this could get us back up into this 15 area. And then we could start to potentially see the flip on the daily of this year to date acting as supply and acting as demand, and we'll get above it. So a trade plan for this is 1455 with a stop under 1428. Make the trade your own. ACI. So we could see here we have this fresh rally above this declining 5-day moving average. We'll be dropping this data off, adding new data. So this 5-day moving average will start to decline. Will start to rally and rise as we drop off the data and add data. So we're looking at this at 541.50 and 512.90. This is so that's what we're looking for on this. And this just closed up. This is post market. So I'll have to look into see what this ACI is. ENB. We got ENB here. We are looking for, we have a scenario we mapped out here that is getting tight on this 5-day moving average. Watch out for this shakeout and a potential trap underneath this 5-day moving average. So this is what we talked about in yesterday's video, was this potential trap underneath the 5-day. Ideally, what now we want to see is above 63.89 with the stop under this 63.30. So just keeping this tight. If it rallies up, ideally it holds this support, this neckline area, and breaks up into 64. If it breaks down and breaks this 63.30, that 5-day will just continue to flatten out, and then trade any lower, it'll start to decline. Verizon. Trading in the tight range now here after this nice push up. So perhaps needs a little bit more digestion, or if we get back above this 45.54 entry with a stop underneath this 45.11. So ideally this rallies up to here, pulls back to the 2, 3 and daily VWAPs, and then we could get a entry up in this area with a stop underneath this low. NEM. We could see here it rallied into this 49.50 and was rejected. Okay. Looking to see if this could get back above this 48.58 area. And it's been having a problem with 48.46. So I wouldn't want to buy it here because every time it gets here, it just fails. So I'd rather get involved early because I know where my stop is going to be, 1.26%. Whereas waiting for it to get there and using a stop of 1.9, I just feel that we're better off making a purchase at this 48.58 and having this stop at this 47.77 region, 47.77 right here. Given the benefit of the doubt of this low, maybe this is our shakeout. But if this breaks, then we're going to be starting to get a flatten to declining 5-day moving average. BSX, we could see this had this nice rally, pulled back, it's trading up underneath this year-to-date high volume weighted average price. Looking at this as an entry at 101.29 with a stop under 117. Ideally, this pulls back, this kind of digests this a little bit though, and then starts to break this. And then perhaps instead of using a stop here, we could actually move that stop up to this higher low. And then we start to get evidence on the chart of our 5-day flats are rising. So we still need to delete all this data before we start to flatten out and rise, or get a rally up into this premises of 101, 102.14 to flatten out that 5-day moving average. AFL, we could see here that we got an entry at 113.37 and we have a stop at 110.56. And we're in this from yesterday. So ideally, we're going to move our stop up from this area to now underneath this 111.76. SE, we're looking for this to get back above 132.50. This area right here with a stop underneath 129.96 area, right underneath this low. So ideally, this consolidates a little bit here and then gets back up to this 132.49. Then we could have a stop underneath this 130.51 or push back up to this 134.50 and then maybe potentially back up to this 145 and further upside. CSCO, we got CSCO here trading underneath the 20-day moving above the 20, underneath the 50, underneath this year-to-date high price. So we're looking to see if this could get back above 62.05 and a stop underneath this 61.20. If you wanted to be aggressive, you could look to get it above here. So you're triggering there and your stop is about it's a little bit less. You got 1.25%, 1.33% stop as it breaks this high at that low versus now accepting, you're less than 1% risk. So that's an idea on the CSCO. LNT, we got this rally up inside day. It's not inside day, but this consolidation after this rally up. So perhaps this is a purchase above 64.47 with a potential stop underneath this low here at 63.94 or 63.82. This got a rally to a new high above this 5-day moving average. It's digesting nice up here. So if it breaks up this prior high, it may want to go see this 65.36 region and fill in this space on the daily time frame. eBay triggered yesterday here at 67.34, and we're looking to see if this can get back above the 64.48 today with a stop underneath the 66.52. Actually, let's move that stop right here to 67.04. This low gets violated. Watch out for this to start getting stuck underneath the 5-day moving average and getting pulled back up to this year-to-date high and year-to-date low volume weighted average price. Moving on to PAYX. Looking for this to get back above 154.70. Stop under 152.76 here. Let's get rid of this. So the stop's right here. Entry above this 154.70. So ideally this rallies up into here, pulls back, holds this 2-day VWAP in the daily, and then can break this 154.70 with the stop 152.76 for a potential push into this R2 156.77 and then maybe even potentially back into this prior daily high in the 160 premises, just shy of 160. TMUS, T-Mobile, trading above the year-to-date volume weighted average price, trading above the 20-day. The 20-day moving average will start to rise as we start to delete this data over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 trading days and add this data. So if TMUS continues to hold, we'll get a rising 20-day moving average above this year-to-date and 20-day moving average. So let's look to see if this could get back above this 268.56 area. 268.56, 58, and 56, 58 up in this premises, get back above here, and then we'll have a stop underneath this 264.48. 264.48 underneath this low right here. So that's the trade 264.48. We're giving it under here. That's what I have in my notes. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt underneath this low, 264.58. That's probably, yeah, 264.58. All right. That's our EPS long range grumpy scan trade ideas for today. Hopefully this was helpful.